What is up, gamers? Today I'm going to be giving you the all-in-one comprehensive amazing solo queue guide for Rainbow Six Siege. Now, I've been playing a lot of solo queue games on my stream recently over at twitch.tv/caffeine with a PH and 2 N's. If you have not already stopped by, I would really appreciate it if you did. There will be a link down in the description below if you find that easier. But during my solo queue adventures on stream, I've learned quite a bit about, how you should be playing during solo queue games, whether that's how you're thinking, what operators you're picking, even what angles you're holding, down to specific details like that. And I'm going to be sharing that knowledge with you guys today in this YouTube video. And if you haven't yet already, stop down in the description, drop a like, drop a sub. All really helps me out. I do appreciate that quite a bit. And I want to keep this intro short, but I do want you guys to know that I will be giving you some opinion in this video, and I will make sure that I let you know before I give you the opinion in this video, so you guys can try to stay as unbiased as possible, because after all, opinions, we all are entitled to them, whether that's in Siege or anything else. Let's get right into the video. The first topic that I'm going to be going over in this video is the solo queuing mentality. So that's a lot about how you're thinking, how you're feeling, how you're acting during solo queuing, especially after a loss. So the most important part of the solo queuing mindset happens way before you even think about hitting the queue button for rank. You have to realize that when you play solo queue, it's likely you're gonna lose. You're probably gonna lose. Think about it. You rely on 4 random people that you've never played with before, who could be the worst players in the world, to help you on your team and help you win, which obviously isn't going to result in you winning every time. And if you're going to solo queue and you want to succeed while solo queuing, you have to be okay with losing sometimes. That even applies on a more micro scale than I just mentioned. Watch this clip that I'm about to play. I end up dying in a really stupid way because I just miss my shots. But notice how I don't get mad or flip out or anything. I just stay calm and know that I did the best that I could. And obviously we're all going to make mistakes, and we have to be okay with that. I'm gonna die right now.
One's on ping by the wall, prone level, on ping. Another one speaking. Nice. That was unlucky.
And one tool that I find really useful while I'm solo queuing is disabling the all chat. Nothing productive is ever said in the all chat. Your teammates aren't making callouts in all chat. The only thing that's getting said in all chat is toxicity. And that only serves to tilt you, especially as a solo player, if you're not playing how you'd like to be. Even though I think it's important to stay calm and collected while you're playing Siege and solo queue in particular, I'm not saying that we can't criticize ourselves when we make mistakes. And obviously, if you just miss your shots, there's really not much you can do about that besides aim train a little bit more. But I'm saying big things like playing over aggressively, playing too passively. There's 1,000 things that I could mention in that category. We need to be able to correct our mistakes very quickly in solo queue because we don't have any teammates to fall back on. So you kind of need to be hypercritical of yourself in solo queue while remaining calm and not freaking out per se. Okay, now we've covered the most important topic of your solo queuing mentality. The second mentality topic and the final that I'm going to cover today is really not trusting your teammates, is what it comes down to. There should never be a time where you rely on your teammates to function in solo queue. It might even be as bad as you telling a teammate to pick an operator and they just end up going Ash or, whoever you needed. But not trusting your teammates is especially important when they're making callouts to you, right? Callouts from a random are something that you should consider, but never something that you should really think about. Like, take this clip for example.
Kate is pillar.
Let's see. Okay.
Flash teammate calls.
Hold up.
He's not pillar. He was white van. That's a really perfect example of what I was just talking about. I assumed my teammate knew what he was talking about, so I went to go hold Cade, who was supposed to be playing pillar, but he was not playing pillar, and I ended up dying because I trusted my random. Right, I don't want to be super influenced by the random's callouts. Like, maybe if he says hard left, maybe you check it, but the most important thing that you can be doing to acquire intel is, first of all, like I just mentioned, not trusting your teammates, and second of all, droning. That leads me kinda into the actual round and the gameplay of solo queuing. When you're solo queuing, save your drone every round. Bring that drone to where you're spawning, pick it up at the beginning of the round because you can't trust your teammates, so you need to use your own intel, which is basically just gonna be drones, to figure out where the enemies are. On a similar note, the prep phase on defense is kind of another scenario where you need to assume control and assume that your random teammates are not going to do what you expect them to do, right? If you want the site on defense to be set up a certain way, you need to do everything in your power to make sure that that site is set up a certain way, right? You need to reinforce the walls you want reinforced. You need to make the rotations you want, and I would really especially rotates when it comes to rotates. I would never rely on a teammate to make a rotate for you. Bring a shotgun, bring a secondary shotgun, or bring impacts yourself, because your teammates are not going to be helping you out at all. And there's a fine line you have to dance when solo queuing with the random teammates. Most people online are going to be toxic, right? So you don't want to provoke them at all. Don't even call them out if they're doing something horribly wrong. The only purpose in calling someone out is to help them improve, and you don't really care if your randoms are improving or not, right? So there's really no point in calling out a random and saying, hey, you're not doing this the best way possible. And here's a mistake that I actually made on a theme park game. I'll show you the clip and kind of an example of what not to do.
Aim the door, bro.
This man is micromanaging my crosshair placement.
Just aim at the door, Masha.
Are you seriously backseat gaming my crosshair placement right now?
Yes.
Yeah, aim at the door. Like, you're boosted flat. Come on.
Damn.
Is he wrong?
Absolutely right.
Hey, look what happened. You aim at the door, dude. Look at that.
So now I'm going to
Got
kind of be
kills.
moving into the main content of this video and talking about the two different types of players that you can be when you go into your solo queue games. And the first I'll be talking about is the support solo queue player. You can probably tell by the name, you're going to be playing operators like Thermite, like Thatcher, people who actually bring utility to the team and can get walls open, you know, just get those default tasks that need to get done, right? When you play the support solo queue player, you assume that role of Thermite and Thatcher most of the time. And it's not just that you're playing Thermite and Thatcher when you take this role. Your actual end goal as someone in this role is to enable your teammates. And that doesn't mean you're disabling yourself, right? You're just giving your teammates an easier opportunity to go and get kills, get plants down, execute on the site, right? And just because you're opening a wall as Thermite doesn't mean you're not going to be able to get kills yourself. Now on defense, the support solo queue player kind of looks a little bit different than it does on attack. But on defense, you're probably going to want to be going operators like Smoke and Mute, especially those shotgun operators. Mira's another good one, Maestro, Echo, and usually as a support player on defense, you're going to want to be playing on the site. Because you're going to kind of have to assume that your teammates are going to want to assume the more fun positions, which is probably, you know, going Vigil, going Jaeger, roaming around, right? You need to play on the site and take responsibility for that position. And if you have operators like Smoke and Mute who have that extra utility of the shotgun to make rotates, you really need to be doing that for your team. I cannot stress that enough. The most important job that you have as a support solo queue player on defense is making rotations. So now I'm going to go ahead and show you a pretty decent example of me playing as a support player in solo queue. You can see that I start off by reading which operators my teammates choose to play, and then making my decision about that I'm going to play support based on their operator choices. All right, you guys going to pick an operator? Hey, we got an ace, got a sledge, probably going to end up going Maverick here. I'm a-coming. You're not going to stop me. It's a bandit. Hey, yo, fuck off, man! So as you can see, after I end up getting that wall open, or at least open enough so Ace can shoot off the bandits and then end up opening the wall, I go back and I retreat and I play in a safe spot just to make sure that that wall gets opened. Because after all, as a support player on attack, my job is to make sure that default breaches like CCTV wall get opened. Wait. Ace, go ahead and get the wall. Hey, Ace. Why? Hey, Legion, how's it going? You can't get my drone? Because I'll fucking take your head off. Wait, alright, double seeing glasses are on. Now, once I know that the wall is open and my job is done, I know I'm free to go basically play the same role as an entry fragger would. And I'm like, alright, I'm gonna go get control of rafters, and obviously you'll see that I do that pretty soon. Fuck you. Was there not a dude here?
I'll watch scaffolding.
Oh, yay! Hey! Hey! Fuck! They're doing the angle. They're on the window too. They're on the window and doing the angle. As you can see, we do end up losing the round, but I think that this round was a perfect example of how a support player should be playing on attack. And you can kind of assume the same things for defense. Just help your teammates out, do the basic jobs that most randoms won't want to do. But, you know, solo queues like that. You do your very best, you put in all the work you can, and you end up losing. You just have to be ready for it. You just have to be able to be, you know, mentally strong enough to not get tilted just because I lost that round. Like, I felt like I played that round very, very well, but I ended up losing it, and I'm happy with how I did. So now we're going to be talking about the second role that you can assume when solo queuing, and that is the role of an entry fragger. Now, what's different about this and support is that as an entry fragger, you're really trying to get kills and make the initial plays against the enemy team, and it's really just about winning your gunfights. I strongly recommend that you do not try to play this role if you're really not confident in your gun skill and your ability to win gunfights. And that's not saying that as a support player, you don't need to be able to win your gunfights. That's still very important. But this role solely relies on your ability to be able to click on enemies' heads, while on support, you can still be helping your team out without killing the entire enemy team. And the operators that I recommend you play while you're entry fragging are operators like Ash, Sophia, and Jaeger, operators with the strongest guns. Now, usually on defense, you're going to be roaming as an entry fragger, and I guess then it's less of an entry, but you're still roaming, your job is still to get kills and make initial attempts at slowing the attackers down on their sight push. Now, on attack, it looks a little bit different. You want to be clearing out that initial little bit of utility. When your team finds a shield, you know, go ahead and Ash charge that, go ahead and Zoph that, but it's not like you're playing Thermite, right? You're still relying on your gun skill to be able to get you kills and end up winning you the round. So as an entry, what I recommend you do is find a hole in the defender's setup. Say you're on Clubhouse, there's no one playing red stairs, and you're like, oh, there's no bar there. This is free. You can just go ahead and take that. There's going to be a lot of mistakes like that made in ranked. And as an entry fragger, it's really, really easy for you to take advantage of those. Now, I'm going to go ahead and show you a round that I played on stream as an entry in solo queue. Fine. He got the worst of the two hatches, unfortunate. Oh, did he get both? Oh,
There's
no.
one server stuck.
Do I get flanked up here? Probably. Hatch is not very useful.
Maestro dead.
I might drop it. So I think I played this situation perfectly, where I try to drone out the site and I end up finding a flaw in their defense and end up capitalizing on it. And that's what most of being an entry is about. Here's the clip.
Good pick.
So even though I ended up dying in that round, I ended up opening up a lot of opportunity for my teammates to eventually go and get the diffuser down, right? I cleared out the guy in red, I cleared out the guy in sight. Now they really don't have anything to do to stop our plant, and we end up getting the bomb down and taking the round. Cappy, you're cracked, baby. Now that you know about both types of players in solo queue, you need to know when to choose between picking one over the other. And it really depends on what type of player you are and what type of role your teammates choose, right? If you're comfortable playing both entry and support, if your teammate has an Ash, a Zofia, and a Habana, and you guys need a Thatcher and a Thermite, you're gonna need to play support there and take that role. But if your team already has all of those things and you want to play entry, you can. It's really just about filling the role that your team needs you to be in. And here's where that opinion's gonna come in that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. Myself, as a Siege player in solo queue, I think that playing support will end up winning you more rounds. Because if you just think about it, you end up getting more done as a support, right? You get the wall open. Now you can basically do the same thing as an entry would, except you have the wall open and your teammates can also help you, right? It takes so much load off you as a player, because if you get the wall open and you go die, you still helped your team out a lot and have still greatly increased the chance of your team winning a round. But after all, that is just my opinion, and that is coming from a player who is not the strongest when it comes to mechanical skill, which is aiming, shooting the bad guys, basically. And for that reason, I do think that support is a more effective playstyle. But you guys, once again, are entitled to your own opinions. Hey, I really appreciate you watching this video, especially till the end like this. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or recommendations, I would really appreciate it if you went down below and asked or told me whatever it is that you might be thinking right now. And don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. I appreciate all of you, I love all of you, and Gamer out.